We are now fighting the BJP, the RSS and the Indian state itself.
कहा कि जिस तरह से आरएसएस और भाजपा मशीनरी का इस्तेमाल कर रही है, आप ये मत समझिए कि आप सिर्फ एक राजनीतिक लड़ाई लड़ रहे हैं। पूरी एजेंसियां उनको सपोर्ट कर रही हैं, तो आप अपने दिमाग में बिठा के रखें कि आपकी लड़ाई बड़ी।
Is this another variant of the Soros toolkit coming? Whom is he fighting? So if you're fighting the Indian state, which means you are admitting to opposition to the state, I think that would constitute treason.
खुद से कोई लड़ाई नहीं कर सकता है, खुद की स्टेट से। हाँ, अपने अपोनेंट से लड़ना चाहिए, चाहे वो आरएसएस हो, चाहे वो बीजेपी हो।
That statement should be understood properly. It is a war to regain the Indian state.
Good evening and welcome to the Newshour Agenda. I'm Madhavdas G, Congress MP and leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha. Rahul Gandhi has sparked a massive political storm. The Congress leader has declared a war on the Indian state. You heard it right, viewers. This is exactly what Rahul Gandhi said at the launch of Congress's new headquarters today. He stated that BJP and RSS have captured every single institution of the country and that Congress is fighting not just the BJP and the RSS, but the Indian state itself.
If you believe that we are fighting a political organization called the BJP, that we are fighting a political organization called the RSS, you have not understood what is going on. The BJP and the RSS have captured every single institution of our country. We are now fighting the BJP, the RSS and the Indian state itself.
Now remember that Rahul Gandhi has traversed the length and breadth of the country during his 6-month-long Bharat Todo Yatra from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, which concluded in January 2023. A year later, he undertook another yatra from Manipur to Mumbai. The overarching message was that the country needs to unite and rise against the politics of communalism and division by spreading mohabbat. But viewers, the comments that Rahul Gandhi has made today is mutiny, not mohabbat. The BJP leaders have gone all guns blazing after Rahul Gandhi, saying that his statement is an open admission that Congress is part of Bharat Todo and Tukde lobby. Even the Congress's allies in the India bloc have disassociated themselves with Rahul's remarks, saying the opposition is not fighting against the Indian state, but only the BJP and the RSS.
राहुल गांधी जिस प्रकार की भाषा बोलते हैं वो माओवादी भाषा है। अपने तो कम पढ़ते हैं, जो उनको पढ़ाने वाले हैं वो माओवादी हैं।
आज खुलकर कांग्रेस पार्टी सामने आ चुकी है कि सोरोस फंडेड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की सहायता लेकर वो भारत के स्टेट के खिलाफ, भारत के लोगों के खिलाफ लड़ रही है।
Beautifully he presented why, what is the reason, what is the issue of the state, what they have spoken. So his message is commendable.
आप सब जानते हैं संवैधानिक संस्थाओं को नीतिगत तरीके से जो कमजोर करने का काम केंद्र सरकार कर रही है, जो विश्वसनीयता होनी चाहिए निर्वाचन आयोग की, संस्थानों की, उसमें कमी आ रही है।
That statement should be understood properly. It is a war to regain the Indian state.
मुझे लगता है राहुल जी को अपोजिशन से लड़ना चाहिए, रादर इंस्टीट्यूशन से, और खुद से कोई लड़ाई नहीं कर सकता है, खुद की स्टेट से।
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Let's go right across to our guest now. Joining us is Siddharth Yadav, national spokesperson of the BJP. Karan Verma, author, is with us. With us also is Ravi Srivastav, political analyst. Joining us is advocate Kaushal Mungta, leader of the Congress party. With us is also Faizan Kedwai, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Let me start with you first. Ravi Srivastav, it's one thing to say that institutions are being compromised. It's one thing to say that, you're fighting the BJP and RSS. But why would Rahul Gandhi make a comment like he is fighting the Indian state? That has a totally different connotation, and it appears to be the kind of language that Naxalites speak, is what the BJP is saying.
Madhav, I think Rahul Gandhi has now taken the war to a new level altogether. And it's a fact. Whatever he's saying is a truth. Because say I take it BJP, RSS as one entity, because they are they are the wedded people and they follow each other's ideology and all. But taking the state name, I think he means a lot. What he wants to say is all institutions now have been compromised, and it is visible. It is visible in the sense you can see the judiciary, the judge attending a VHP function and giving comments about the UCC. I think the Supreme Court has already taken a cognizance of that. We have got the institutions where the UGC, the CBSE or any other institution, the people who are compliant with a particular ideology are being appointed as their heads. The constitutional bodies like CBI, the ED, the SEBI, the Election Commission, the people who are appointed there, they follow a particular ideology. I would say that the BJP ideology for that matter. And so much so, the judiciary, which was...
Ravi Srivastava, let me just stop you right there. Let us assume, in fact, that is entirely contentious. The BJP will, of course, counter you even on this entire topic of institutions. But even if you believe that is the case, is this the right way to put it? Are you going to say that now we are fighting the Indian state? The point I'm making is that you have Naxalites who come out and say that they are fighting the Indian state and the Indian constitution. It's the same Indian state which has given him the cabinet rank of the position of LOP that he is enjoying at the moment, Ravi Srivastava. How can you be against the Indian state?
Nobody has obliged Rahul Gandhi. He deserved that. He got the LOP position and he deserves what he has got it.
So he's part of the state. That's the whole point I'm making.
Right. Maybe, but now he's against the wall. The election commission,
Sir, it is his constitutional obligation. He has taken an oath in the name of the constitution, and then you say the same state you are waging a war against. Where is the logic here, Ravi Srivastava? Come on.
That oath is that he will preserve the constitution, and for that only he is fighting now. He said that I am against the wall. The appointment of election commission also, the Chief Justice...
Sir, people in positions of power have to speak responsibly. That's the only point I'm making. Siddharth Yadav, your response to Ravi Srivastava.
Madhav, I think the masks are off today, and the reality of Congress party, the reality of Rahul Gandhi is out in open. What he used to say on foreign soil, how he used to abuse the Indian machinery, the Indian state, the Indian democratic structure, now he's doing that, and I think it's absolutely absurd. How can we digest, as an Indian, I do not speak as a BJP spokesperson, I speak as an Indian, the leader of opposition, a constitutionally, someone who has taken an oath as a member of parliament, is saying that he is fighting the Indian state? I would be foolish to give him a benefit of doubt in that. I would be foolish. He's just playing in the hands of his foreign friends who have been trying very hard to destabilize India for so long. Madhav, we have been in opposition in this country for the longest time. We have been in opposition for more than 4 decades, 5 decades. None of our leaders ever in the past have uttered such a thing. You want to point out, highlight something, you want to go against BJP, RSS, go ahead. How can you say that you're fighting the Indian state? We have seen the license Raj. We have seen Supreme Court judges being promoted out of order, out of turn. We have seen the state of emergency. Nothing of that sort is happening in India today. India is a flourishing democracy, and you are standing and saying that you're fighting the Indian state? What is the Indian state? I think their intentions are out in open. This is, this is mutiny against the state. This is sedition. The strongest of objections should be registered against this, and there is no denying, no one can be made foolish by, twisting and turning what he has.
Kaushal Mungta, come in on this, because at the end of the day, this is not the first time Rahul is making a controversial statement. Even if you believe that democracy is being undone in India, why would Rahul Gandhi go abroad and, as Siddharth Yadav has mentioned, say that EU and US should now intervene, or they should take note of the fact that the democratic model has been undone in India? He has said this on foreign soil. It's not the first time he's making this kind of an absolutely controversial comment, is what the BJP is saying. Respond, Kaushal Mungta.
Firstly, Rahul Gandhi is our hero. He is a leader of the nation. एंड सेकेंडली, आपने जो बात कही, राहुल गांधी ने चाहे विदेश की धरती पर कही हो चाहे हिंदुस्तान की धरती पर बात कही हो, उन्होंने जो बात कही है हम उसका समर्थन करते हैं और इस बात पर समर्थन करते हैं कि देश की जितनी भी संस्थाएं हैं, व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ स्टेट अंडर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया, जितनी भी संस्थाएं देश की है वही स्टेट है. ईडी, सीबीआई, सुप्रीम कोर्ट, हमारा चुनाव आयोग, सारा का सारा जो संस्थाएं हैं वो नरेंद्र मोदी जी और भाजपा ने एक तोता जिसको हम कहते हैं उस तरीके से पपेट की तरह चलाया जा रहा है और उसी पर आदरणीय राहुल गांधी जी ने कमेंट किया है.
इंस्टीट्यूशंस कॉम्प्रोमाइज होना और हम स्टेट या सरकार के खिलाफ लड़ रहे हैं, ये कहना, दोनों में बहुत फर्क है. ये बात आपको माननी पड़ेगी कौशल मुंगटा जी। अगर आप कह रहे हैं कि ईडी इज कॉम्प्रोमाइज, सीबीआई इज कॉम्प्रोमाइज, यू बिलीव कोर्ट्स, यू बिलीव वेरियस कमीशंस आर कॉम्प्रोमाइज, दैट इज योर पर्सपेक्टिव, यू आर एंटाइटल्ड टू दैट व्यू। एज अ लीडर ऑफ ऑपोजिशन यू कैन फाइट दैट, बट टू से वन सेकंड, लिसन टू मी मिस्टर मुंगटा, बट टू से दैट वी आर फाइटिंग द इंडियन स्टेट हैज अ टोटली डिफरेंट कॉनोटेशन. You know who fights the Indian state? Our opposition countries such as Pakistan, such as those who are inimical to India's interest. Those are the countries that you will say are fighting the Indian state. Why would any Indian citizen be fighting the Indian state, sir?
आपको मुझे भी सुनना होगा। मोहन भागवत जी बयान देते हैं कि आजादी हमें अब मिली है जब राम मंदिर बना। अगर राहुल गांधी जी संस्थाओं पर जो कब्जा कर दिया है भाजपा ने, जो उनको ठीक है, पास्ट में क्या हुआ, इन्होंने भाजपा के प्रवक्ता ने बात की कि भाई इन्होंने जो है लाइसेंस राज की बात की, इन्होंने इमरजेंसी की बात की। हम कहते हैं कि अगर पास्ट में कोई गलतियां हुई हम उसका समर्थन नहीं करते, परंतु अगर आप आज संविधान को खत्म करने का काम करेंगे, आज आप देश के स्टेट को कौन रिप्रेजेंट करता है?
तो सर इमरजेंसी लगी है क्या?
सुन लीजिए मेरी बात को। मोहन भागवत जी कहते हैं कि हमको आजादी राम मंदिर को मिलने के बाद बनी। राहुल गांधी जी ने कमेंट किया कि हम केवल आरएसएस और भाजपा से नहीं लड़ रहे हैं
सर। उन्होंने कहा है कि इंडिपेंडेंस की स्पिरिट उनको लगा है कि जो आजादी की स्पिरिट है वो राम मंदिर के प्राण प्रतिष्ठा के बाद उनको लगा पूरी तरह से it has been come into place. Let me bring in Karan on that note now. Karan Verma, do you agree with him when he brings up the issue of Mohan Bhagwat's comment saying that what Mr. Bhagwat has said is absolutely controversial, he says, because his allegation is that Mr. Bhagwat has said that there was no independence in 47 and now we have received true independence. That is a statement to object, not the statement of Rahul Gandhi, says Mr. Mungta. Please respond to him. Karan.
So, Madhav, I'm not going to fall for this bait and change the goalpost here, because what we've heard today from Rahul Gandhi is dangerous and legally prosecutable. And I talk as a citizen. This is a bipartisan issue. We should talk as citizens, and nobody should defend this statement. I mean, if we go back to what in IPC, what was section 121, it was waging a war against the state is legally prosecutable. Exactly the words that Rahul Gandhi has now today used. We are now fighting the Indian state itself. I mean, either Rahul Gandhi should offer an unconditional apology. Honestly, even an apology is not enough. Else, nobody, no party spokesperson, no one should defend it. It is the country first. Today, he has crossed that line where, you know, there should be a debate on this. This should be condemned outright, because this is not a fight against one particular party or one particular ideology. He has today declared a war against the country itself. And this is a member of parliament, and we have a spokesperson here who is defending this brazenly, saying that he is our hero. I mean, what kind of uprising are we seeing against our nation today? Madhav, this is shocking, and to compare it, come up with a typical monkey balancing act of saying what Mohan Bhagwat ji has said or what someone has said. No. We are quoting Rahul Gandhi today and holding him to account, and he must offer an unconditional apology. So far, whenever he went abroad, we said, okay, maybe that was a gaffe, maybe that was a slip of tongue, maybe he didn't mean. Today, he was crystal clear and categorical. And when he says our institutions are under attack, the same institutions have given him bail in National Herald. Is he in jail today? Is his party inside the jail? Is he not allowed to speak against the Prime Minister day in, day out, abuse him? Does he not carry out marches against the government in the current dispensation? Has he not won elections? Does he not have a government in Himachal and Karnataka and Telangana? I mean, what shamelessness has he resorted to, and how are we seeing someone defend this is beyond imagination.
कौशल मुंगता, जवाब दीजिए.
देखिए, मेरे जो ये मित्र है, इन्होंने बड़ी बड़ी बातें करी। मैं इनको कहना चाहता हूं कि राहुल गांधी जी जो कर रहे हैं वो देश की संस्थाओं को बचाने के लिए कर रहे हैं, संविधान को बचाने के लिए कर रहे हैं। आपने हिमाचल प्रदेश का जिक्र किया, कौन वहां पर सीआरपीएफ को लगाया? सरकार कांग्रेस की, सीआरपीएफ सेंटर से आ रही है। कौन वहां पर ऑपरेशन लोटस कर रहा है? कौन वहां पर हरियाणा की पुलिस घुसा रहा है हमारे स्टेट के अंदर? ये नहीं हुआ संविधान का, देश का संस्थाओं को खत्म करने का काम। और रही बात डिफेंड करने की, आप मेरी बात सुन लीजिए। अगर नरेंद्र मोदी जी विदेश में जाकर के ये कहते हैं कि पता नहीं मैं कहां पैदा हो गया, किस देश में पैदा हो गया, तब आपको दर्द नहीं होता है। आज आप विश्लेषक बनकर भाजपा के प्रवक्ता का काम कर रहे हैं, तो आपको दर्द हो रहा है। सुन लीजिए।
ओके, सिद्धार्थ यादव,
कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन कहता है।
सिद्धार्थ यादव,
I think Madhav, what my friend from I think he's representing the Congress today, but एक पूरी जिसको कहते हैं ना वानर सेना, तो बहुत हमारे इतिहास के अंदर एक पवित्र काम करती थी। पर ये जो राहुल गांधी की सेना है, जो राहुल गांधी कुछ भी गलत बोल दें और राहुल गांधी के पीछे लग जाएं, गलत बोला गया, देश को गाली दी गई, कुछ नहीं सोचना, कुछ नहीं समझना, नेवर थिंक अबाउट व्हाट इज ही सेइंग। अरे आपका लीडर ऐसा है, मैं मुश्किल समझता हूं, इट बिकम्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट, बट व्हाट इज द इंडियन स्टेट? Define the Indian state for me. Indian state में क्या होता है? What are you fighting? We are fighting the Indian state itself. The Constitution Article 1 defines the Indian state. What is the Indian state? It also includes your government in Himachal Pradesh. It also includes your government in Karnataka. It also includes the courts that have given you bail on corruption. It also includes the institutions of this country which allow you free speech. जो आप लेकर के जिस माइक को लेकर के दिन रात गालियां देने का काम करते हैं वो आपको इंडियन स्टेट ने दिए हैं. Indian state includes our army, our navy, our air force, our forces. What are you fighting? What is the Indian state? And if you can't understand the Indian state, then I think it's a very sorry state of affairs.
Faizan, respond to that.
Sorry state of affairs.
Respond to that, because this limited understanding of the Indian state as being just a bunch of agencies or a few courts is not correct. He's right. Doesn't Siddharth Yadav have a point? You're talking about the Indian state. Our army is the Indian state. Our navy, our air force is part of the same Indian state. Our governments, our courts, all our government infrastructure is the Indian state. What all is Mr. Rahul Gandhi going to take on now?
See, I'd like to ask this question to Bharatiya Janata Party spokesperson and all those who support BJP. Kindly tell me, if a gentleman goes to Canada and says, people used to think that we have committed a sin that we are born in India. In South Korea, he says people regret that they are born in India. In China, UAE, he goes and he talks bad about India. Who that person is? That's Narendra Modi. So what do you have to say about Narendra Modi? Wasn't he disrespecting India? He was maligning the reputation of India just for his political benefits. So BJP, kindly don't give sermons. And the way you people have disrespected India, you have disrespected the law and order situation in India, destroyed it. The Honorable Supreme Court, when it passes a judgment that CJI will be part of the committee that will appoint the election commissioner, you overturn it. The Honorable Supreme Court says that Delhi government, that is the AAP government, has the right to appoint civil servants, you overturn it. What are you doing? Disrespecting the law or honoring the law? And if somebody disagrees with you, why do they become urban Naxals? What is this concept of urban Naxals? There's no proof to this term. First of all, urban Naxals. There are a lot of things.
Sir, he just said, Mr. Karan Verma just said, Faizan, there are 2 or 3 very important questions that I have from what you said. But where is this term urban Naxal? What does it come from? I think Karan Verma just explained there was a section in the IPC that is called waging war against a nation. Today, Rahul Gandhi's language is reflective of that, is what he's saying. Karan, would you like to respond to Faizan?
Yeah. So, I take Faizan Ji as an erudite person, as a well-read person, irrespective of whatever political ideology. And I want to ask him a pointed question. It's a different thing to, construe or misconstrue something as disrespect to the nation. Does he, as a constitutionalist, stand with the language that Rahul Gandhi has said? And I'm quoting him. We are now fighting the Indian state itself. Back in the IPC section 121, I don't know the current section in BNSS, it is prosecutable. Waging a fight, waging a war against the state is legally prosecutable. Do you stand with this statement? Please do not resort to whataboutery. Just answer this specific question, please. I expect you will answer it in the right spirit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My
Section
reply
147,
to your question.
by the way, just before Faizan answers, this is what Section 147 of the BNS says. Whoever wages war against the government of India or attempts to wage such war or abets the waging of such war shall be punished with death, imprisonment for life, and shall also be liable to fine. I'm just reading out the section in context of what Karan Verma said. Respond to that, Faizan.
Okay, so would the same law apply to Mr. Narendra Modi also? First of all, because he also disrespected India on a foreign land. Second, my answer to your question, sir, would be the same.
Don't equate the two, Karan. Faizan.
May I just
disrespecting and actually saying that I'm fighting. There's a world of difference, but anyway, carry on.
See, there could be a slip of tongue also, and first of all, I'm not a Congress party
it's a slip of tongue. No, this is a first. This is a first. Faizan, if it is a slip of tongue, very important point. Very important point, Faizan. If it is a slip of tongue, then why not clarify, apologize, and move on?
Yes, he should, and he should, like his party spokesperson, should come on television and they have to offer the clarification, not me. I am from Samajwadi Party. How can I?
Very important. Mr. Mungta and Mr. Srivastava, would you like to take that question? Here you have Samajwadi Party spokesperson disassociating with what Rahul Gandhi is saying. He said, if it's a slip of tongue, why not apologize and move on? I am from Samajwadi Party, not Congress.
There is absolutely no slip of tongue. What he said, he meant it. And if you want to seek further clarification, I think he will be available for that. You ask him for it and he will definitely provide it, that what he really meant And what he said is that the way agencies are being misused, the agencies are being compromised, the way the judiciary is able to function under this government, I think there is no democracy. You said there is an emergency. Yes, there is an undeclared emergency.
Mr. Srivastava, may I ask you a question? As the leader of opposition, is he not on the selection committee of the same institutions? The Election Commission, the CBI director, which he as ex-official leader of opposition is part of the selection committee and part of the process of. He can record dissent notes. He is part of that entire system. And is he now going to question the very same system in which he is a part of appointing institutional heads?
He can definitely do it, but he is not in majority there. His observation.
But that is a system, that is how democracy works. When the UPA government was in power, does that mean that all the appointees were against the BJP? No, that is not how it works, sir. That is our system that is in place.
The government tries to bulldoze the kind of ordinances, the resolutions have been passed in the parliament with a brutal majority. I think no voice is heard.
Sir, I am saying that parliament is one separate issue. We're talking about institutional compromise. But let me bring in Karan Verma. Karan Verma, respond to that. This government has used brute force in the past, and that's what we are talking about. That's the sum and substance of the argument of Ravi Srivastava. Respond to him.
देखिए अभी फैजान जी जस्ट आस्क्ड अ क्वेश्चन, हु आर दीज अर्बन नक्सलाइट्स? आपको अभी जवाब मिल गया. फैजान जी डिड नॉट एंडोर्स व्हाट राहुल गांधी सेड. ही इज अ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनलिस्ट. He said he should either offer an apology or issue a clarification. But Ravi Srivastava jumps up at the first instance, says, बिल्कुल सही किया इन्होंने. Waging a war against the country को वो सही बता रहे. When the Supreme Court gives bail to Arvind Kejriwal, then Supreme Court is fine. When the Supreme Court sets aside the Chandigarh mayor election, then the Supreme Court is fine. When it declares the electoral bonds as unconstitutional, then it is fine. You cannot selectively cherry pick. This is the urban Naxalite mindset. Our friend Ravi Srivastava today denotes this urban Naxalite mindset. They support this sort of anarchy. They support waging a war against the country. They support this rebellion. This is the problem.
Careful.
Yeah, all right. Kaushal, I'll give Kaushal a quick chance to rebut that. Kaushal, is this actually reflective of the urban Naxal mentality, as Karan Verma is saying? Because you cannot defend the indefensible beyond a point. Even your alliance partners are now distancing from you, as we've seen in this debate.
चाहिए आरोप राहुल गांधी जी पर है, मुझे बोलने दिया जाए. पूरा भाजपा केवल और केवल राहुल गांधी से डरती है, इसीलिए उन पर बार बार वार की जाते हैं. रही बात समाजवादी पार्टी की, आम आदमी पार्टी की, ठीक है वो हमारे सहयोगी है, परंतु जो बात हमने करनी है वो कांग्रेस की अपनी आइडियोलॉजी है, कांग्रेस उस पर टिकी हुई है. और दूसरी बात मैं कहना चाहता हूं, ये यहाँ पर जो आपने विश्लेषक बिठा रखे, उन्होंने कहा कि भाई बेल पर भी राहुल गांधी बेल पर है. अरे तो देश का गृह मंत्री तड़ी पा रहा है, उनको बेल नहीं मिली है क्या? तो देश की जो संस्थाएं हैं जिसको लेकर राहुल गांधी जी बात कर रहे हैं, हमको चिंतन करना पड़ेगा. अगर राहुल गांधी जी ने इतनी बड़ी बात कही है, जिन संस्थाओं को कमजोर करने का काम भाजपा कर रही है, बजाय इस पर चर्चा करने के,
सिद्धार्थ, आप राहुल गांधी से इतने डरे हुए हैं, इसलिए इस तरह के आर्गुमेंट्स कर रहे हैं. जवाब दीजिए कौशल जी का.
नहीं, हम तो माधव राहुल गांधी से बहुत डरे हुए हैं. राहुल गांधी कैसे, क्या डरे हुए हैं, या वो राहुल गांधी डराने वाले हैं जो वैसे रिमार्क्स कर रहे हैं? I am asking, what are the compulsions of a leader of Rahul Gandhi's stature that he would come on a stage and say that we are waging a war against India? We have to fight the Indian state itself. What are the compulsions? कोई तो मजबूरी रही होगी. It must be either the foreign friends, the friends जिनके कहने पर राहुल गांधी बहुत कुछ करते आए हैं. One leader, he goes to Cambridge, he says इंडिया में डेमोक्रेसी खत्म हो रही है. He'll go to another country and he'll say हमारे आप डेमोक्रेसी में इंटरवीन करने का काम करिए. He will go to Ladakh and he will say यहाँ पे टेररिज्म हो गया है, चाइना को ऐसा हो गया है. And then he's the same leader जो मानसरोवर में जाकर के 2009 में चाइना के ऑफिशियल्स के साथ गलबैया करते हैं. He's the same leader जिनने MOU साइन करा हुआ है जिनकी पार्टी ने, जिसको वो डिस्क्लोज नहीं करना चाहते हैं. जो लोग हिस्टोरिकली माधव have been historically involved in anti-India activities have just made their masks out in open. They have removed their masks. And they are standing on Indian soil and saying, we are waging a war against the Indian state itself. We have to fight the Indian state itself. I'm unable to understand what do they understand with the Indian state. I'm just unable to understand that.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Let's leave it there. Siddharth Yadav, Karan Verma, Ravi Srivastava, as well as Advocate Kaushal Mungta, Faizan Kedwai. In fact, Karan and Ravi will stay with us for debate number 2. Thanks so much for the rest of you gentlemen for joining us this evening.